have a couple minutes. I had to go to a different bank because Pacific's ATM wasn't working. Okay. Don't listen to a word I say. No kidding. Story of my life. John 14:21-24. Whoever has my commandments and keeps them, he it is who loves me, and he who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and manifest myself into him. Manifest myself into him or her. You got to keep in mind that the Bible is very sexualized. And a lot of these, I'll send an advocate, or I'll send my angel this, or I'll do all that. A lot of people would say in the study of angels, predominantly, they're all male. Some people say that an angel has no sex. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And you can be an angelic messenger and really not be in any of those categories at all. Judas, not of Issachar, said, Lord, how is it that you will manifest yourself into us and not to the world? Jesus answered him, if anyone loves me, he will keep my words, and my Father will love him, and we can come to him and make our home with him. Whoever does not love me does not keep my words, and the word that you hear is not mine, but the Father's who has sent me. There again is Jesus detracting everything from him, trying to get people to turn their eyes up to God. And everybody was fixated on Jesus, just like how they are now. Still fixated on Jesus, not dependent on God. I mean, I can only imagine what Jesus is doing in the upper room right now. Just like, I can't freaking believe it. After all I did and all I said, and they've got their noses so buried into their freaking Bibles, and they're not even hearing, reading, listening to what I've been trying to say since this all began. And you have to remember that, I believe it was John 21:25. I always get them flipped. John himself wrote, and Jesus did so many other things that if I were to write all of them down, the world could not even contain the books. So don't sit there and talk to me about, oh, well, if it's not in the Bible, it didn't happen. You've got to be a freaking idiot to think for one moment those years, all those years that Mary and Jesus were together, that he had a family, that he did all these other things. It's the scrap of time. His ministry is the only thing that's focused on in the resurrection and beyond. Nobody knows the absolute truths of his day in and day out, what they talked about, what they did, his favorite foods, what he liked to play, with other children. And we know that he had this amazing wisdom about him, and he disappeared one time in, the area, and they were freaking out because they couldn't find him. And when they found him, he was talking, with these wise men and this and that. There's not a whole lot at all in the Bible about Jesus and how he was before he walked onto the scene and did all of this. And that's what I really want to stress. There's a lot of, if he loves him, then he loves me, and if I love you and you love we, and there's a lot of confusion in that passage to some people, but it's very clear. You love me, and through me, you have access to my Father, and whoever loves me loves my Father, and my Father loves whoever loves me. And we all say, woohoo! He spoke in parables and was very confusing. It was the only way that he could communicate. He was different. And in the end, before they came and got him, the people said that were closest to him. Now, mind you this one, because it's a fact, they called him crazy. Whenever an individual in the Bible would get so close to God and so far removed and so not of this world, they were deemed crazy and persecuted and killed. If I lived in Jesus' time, I would have probably been one of those people up on the cross with him on the right saying, hey, will you remember me? It's more important to hear than it is to see. Hence all that walk by faith and not by sight. Nobody does it. Very few people do it. And my plight, really, in the beginning, was always just about getting home. And somewhere between 1st and 5th Avenue, I got shouldered with this responsibility to pull off something that's never been done. And I can't squawk and talk about too much of it. There's projects that are ready for people who want those projects. And God is picking out right now all the people that are going to come to me later. And it's just going to be a matter of whether or not those people are too late. Jesus said they'll come and they'll look for me and they'll call for me, but I won't be here. And I won't be answering any of them. And that goes for his little sister. So, have a good night.
Place where love, feeling good don't never cost a thing.
I'm going home.
In the pain you feel a different kind of pain.